Controversial. It's gonna be controversial. Let's go.
Bikini-clad Kasumi and a big pair of...
Oh, what?
We're about to embark on games that have everyone from Senator Joe Lieberman to your grandmother up in arms. They're the most controversial games
Is it
of
just
all
gonna be
time.
horny
I hope
games?
you have the balls to hang because the hits the fan right
Oh no,
now on
I thought
Twitter.
I thought it would just be controversial in general.
Hello, I'm Diane Mizoda, and welcome to Filter, a hand-picked top 10 video game countdown as voted on by you, the viewer, at G4TV.com. Now, when I was a kid, I thought Pitfall Harry was hot and E.T. was rebellious. Well, a lot has changed since then. Today, gamers would rather pee on hookers than chase pellets and
Well,
swing
hold
for
on.
mines.
No, I don't
Thanks
know
to
if they
that
want that.
yearning, we have before you the most controversial games ever made. But before we get to your top 10 reasons to be a menace to society and gawk at scantily clad women, we cornered some of you to give us your take on what makes a game controversial. Let's see what you said.
Okay, well, I feel like controversial at a different connotation back then. Doesn't it? Compared to now?
A game's controversial when people talk about it, I think.
Oh my god,
whether
yeah.
it's violence, whether it's sex, a controversial game is one that people are interested in talking about.
Okay, now maybe it's just violence and horniness. It's all the same.
What I may think is controversial is certainly different from what other people may think is controversial.
Alright.
Do controversial games have an influence on society? I think to some degree, sure. You know, I think much like a movie you watch or a TV show or a book you read, I think what you see in those games influence your views of the world to some degree. But I think it's all within the context.
I feel like as a kid, I always associated controversial games with bad quality.
I think
Like,
they do have some impact.
didn't
absolutely,
really have
but I don't
anything
think it's,
else to
necessarily
sell.
A correlation where, you know, a violent game makes people more violent or a sexual game makes people think more sexually or anything like that. I think, you know, they're entertainment experiences and they should be treated as that.
yeah, I mean, if you're drawn to that kind of stuff, then you'll seek that out, right?
Now it's time to get to the boobage. Let's face it,
Oh.
there are certain games you don't want your mom to know you're playing. Like a game that puts raunchy, bare-breasted women on BMX bikes and has you fantasizing about what it would be like to touch their hooters.
Oh, yeah.
BMX XXX is at 10.
I remember seeing this game as a kid, but I just thought, this looks like a bad game. I was never like, wow, this looks like something fun. It was just like, oh, it's a cheap gimmick to get people to buy your
XXX was
game.
controversial because it included these sort of in-between scenes of these scores strippers that would basically strip for you inside of the game.
Oh, I didn't actually know that. So, I don't think that would have changed my mind.
Controversy is great if it's on top of a great game, but if it's just controversy for the sake of controversy, gamers see through that. They didn't buy the game.
Yeah, I did not buy it.
We go from the depths of a woman's anatomy to the depths of mortality. Carmageddon has everyone up in a hoo-ha because it
Carmageddon.
rewards you for running down pedestrians.
Oh,
I say
yeah.
if you can't handle the heat, then get your fat out of the kitchen. Carmageddon blows up at number 9.
Get my what out of the kid? I did play this as a kid, but yeah, I don't know. I guess it was fun. I don't think it was that good of a game though, but it was just kind of, it was decently fun.
Controversial. It's just basically a driving game where you run people over for points. It's a funny game, you know, it's got a morbid aspect, of course, to it, but it's so gimmicky, it's so fun.
You can basically beat the game just by running over hundreds upon hundreds of people, blood splattering all over your car.
I feel like it got tiresome really quickly though.
Nature of the
Didn't?
subject matter. I mean, being able to get extra points for stylistically splattering a pedestrian is pretty big.
Sure, Carmageddon has the ethics of a dog-killing mailman, but don't forget about our favorite 4-letter pile of carnage, Doom. The game gained
Was
just as much
Doom
notoriety
controversial?
for its graphics and gameplay as it did for its violence and gore. id Software's classic shooter upsets PTA moms everywhere, but who really gives a what they think? It's at 8.
Okay. I never really played Doom. I think I've tried it a couple of times and just been like, it's not really for
Doom
me.
was really one of the first gameplay experiences where it kind of puts you, you know, face first person into the action.
I think
Which is such a
Doom
great
never
game.
really meant anything to me because I played
It was
Duke
a first-person
Nukem.
action game with incredible graphics.
And I like
And
Duke
when you
Nukem,
saw
but I
these
did not
incredible
really care for
graphics,
Doom.
You know, people said, "Hey, this is really realistic," and I think for some people it was a little too realistic.
Doom was a controversial game because
Actually,
it was
will
the first
Duke
of its kind,
Nukem be
first
on
to
the
shoot
list?
someone have blood versus
I'm gonna
see
say
heads on a
yes.
stick in a game.
Show me
You know
Duke.
the funny thing about Doom?
Show me Duke.
Is that you were a guy going into hell and killing demons. id Software got numerous letters from religious groups being offended. No one grasped the concept that you were actually killing demons. That was the point. You were on God's side. It wasn't as controversial as people think.
If the
Show me
regular
Duke
version of
Nukem.
Doom isn't offensive enough, you can always blow up Santa Claus, Barney, or Jesus thanks to mods. Just
Oh.
kidding about Jesus.
Okay, okay.
If that doesn't
Jesus.
turn you on, then you may want to go spend some personal time so you aren't so uptight. After the break, we have more cleavage than you can sink your teeth into, and we're going on a panty raid. Oh, so now you're interested. We'll be back.
Okay.
What's better than a bunch of babes wearing next to nothing and having their flying around while they straddle trees? Well, I guess actually dating
know.
one, but
Oh.
you take what you can get. Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball jiggles its way into number 7.
I don't know. I feel like I would have felt so awkward if I ever bought this game or played it. It probably is a fun game. I don't know. I've never even tried it out. Never had any interest in trying it out.
But it certainly was, you know, pretty trippy. And then it was, you know, all these sort of beach volleyball girls who were, you know, really sort of, you know, attractive in these skimpy little bikinis and playing beach volleyball.
I mean, the only reason people buy it is to see the bikinis and the jumping.
It's actually a fun volleyball game, and they have a sort of social
Okay.
aspect to things. You know,
I mean, the actual
it's
game,
beach volleyball.
this actually looks pretty good compared to the other, like, controversial games, though.
Because the women are so hot. And there is implied lesbianism there. The girls have
Okay.
relationships. They apply sunblock on one another. They hang out. It's good.
Not all offensive
I'm actually interested in trying that game out now, but just because it looks fun.
N64 is a 3D platformer starring a foul-mouthed squirrel named Conker. This little crawls its piece of attitude into the damn 6 spot.
Mhm.
Enjoy.
Okay. This I'm briefly tried this game.
It was just funny. At the beginning of the game, he wakes
Maybe
up and he's
I
drunk,
should stream it.
And he has a bad hangover, and he's just saying bad words all over the place.
It was actually a really fun game when it came out, but yeah, it was controversial, I guess, because it had, you know, some suggestive language and some suggestive scenarios, and it was pretty violent.
All right,
Beauty
maybe
isn't the
I
only
want
thing
to
that's
try
in the
that
eye
out
of the
also.
beholder. What may go over the line for me may be just fine for you. We asked
What-
around to see
what
people
did she
consider to be the
say?
most controversial thing they've ever seen in a game,
Cock.
and we couldn't find anybody good, so we went with these guys.
Probably the most controversial thing I've seen in a game is probably Vice City. Just everything society deems wrong, you can just
I think
do
this
it
is when I got
job.
tired of
I think a lot of
GTA,
controversial
when I
games
was like,
that are
nowadays is
I'm kind of past the whole Grand Theft Auto thing.
I don't consider wanton violence very controversial. In the game Metal Gear Solid, it opens a lot of issues about nuclear arms and nuclear buildup, a lot of current issues.
There's a game called Narc coming out soon. Part of the game is taking drugs. And you take weed to turn everything into bullet time because it slows it all down. Speed gets your energy up. And there's
I've
other
never
stuff as
heard of
well.
this
But,
game.
I mean, that kind of game will attract so much controversy.
One of the most controversial things I've ever seen in a game was actually from a Sierra game called Phantasmagoria. This was a live-action video game. And I mean, it included sort of full-on sex scenes and nudity and stuff like that. It really just sort of pushed limits. And, you know, that game to me was defined as basically trying to shock you. It definitely made me say, wow, I mean, the game industry, they really want to shock you with this game. And they definitely accomplished that.
Okay, that looks stupid.
So now that we're tired of listening to you guys, let's get back to the vulgarity. Sitting snug at number 5 is a game that's more controversial than Michael Jackson. It's the Postal series, and it's caught in the middle spot.
Oh yeah, that's a game I heard a lot about as a kid, but I just had never cared.
Postal is that great game that features none other than Gary Coleman shooting random people. It's
What?
made by Running with Scissors, and it uses the Unreal technology, and we're proud of it.
Postal was a game that just basically was just
Oh, Unreal has changed
they were
a
just
lot,
trying to
huh?
make people mad. You know, you can kick off people's heads and piss on their bodies and all that other stuff, but you're just killing people.
You can just walk up and piss on a person, light them on fire. You can do basically anything you want.
This is
I don't think the games were ever very
stupid.
good.
This
I
is
don't think people
dumb.
really like them, but yeah, they certainly were.
Maybe it is fun, but even as a kid, I
So, if
would
lighting
have probably
somebody
felt
on
the
fire and
same.
having your way with them isn't your thing, then how about secretly photographing a group of models in their underwear? Pervert! Panty Raider from here
It's
to
not me.
immaturity peeps in at number 4.
It's not me. That I would not. No, but I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. Show me the game though. What? This is not what I was expecting.
Well, Panty Raider, if I remember correctly, is a game where you basically save the world from aliens by throwing objects at girls to get them to take their clothes off.
This looks awful.
Well, Panty Raider is pretty much controversial because it's
It's pornographic.
I've never heard of this game before, and I have zero interest. I don't know. That's all there is to it? Alright.
If you're not offended yet, don't worry. The sickest is yet to come, so stick around.
No, I'm...
Fine. Don't come back, but you're gonna miss out.
Okay.
I'm serious. We're gonna rag on your mom.
Well, what?
So far, we've managed to assemble a list that would make any
I need to look her up.
proud to
What?
be a gamer.
Was she just a regular on this show? Who is she? Dancer? Actress? Alright. TV personality. Monkey? She was in Monkey Bone? Okay, she was a dancer. She was in George of the Jungle? What? Okay, back to the, I don't know, porn, I guess.
Here's a recap of who is totally offensive in case you weren't listening, you little bastards.
I'm sorry.
BMX XXX offends its way to
I am
number 10
here.
after a quick stop at a local strip
I was the one who decided to be here, watching this, so...
Number 8 insults everyone with Duke.
I am a hypocrite.
Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball bumps, sets, and grinds its
I need
way
to play
number
Dead or
7.
Alive now.
Number 6 is that son of a conquers bad fur day. Lock and Load with the Neighborhood Mailman, the Postal series is number 5. And at number 4 is a trio of aliens looking for some sweet love.
That should not be that high up. It looks bad.
While all the games on our list so far have managed to upset their fair share of protective parents and politicians, they're just second rate compared to what's up next. When Rockstar first announced Manhunt, it was shrouded in secrecy. All that was shown were some grainy-ass videos and full screenshots, kind of like Paris Hilton video. When the game was finally released, gamers were treated with one of the darkest and grittiest games ever made. Manhunt kills at number 3.
No Duke Nukem, I guess? Interesting. But yeah, that was a game, I remember.
Manhunt was, the violence I think was what shocked everyone. There was that whole kind of running man, people watching over you while you're forced to fight thing. So that was just the different nasty ways of killing people.
I didn't think Manhunt was that controversial, that they were really basing the controversy aspect to sell games when they didn't really need to. The gameplay was really solid, really good.
Manhunt is a game in which you can kill someone with a plastic bag by like putting it over their head and they're suffocating them, and apparently that's pretty controversial. I hear in the sequel you're going to be able to use a spork.
Oh, interesting.
Before we get to the 2 most offensive games on the planet, let's take a look at some of the titles that tried to be naughty but just weren't bad enough. Here's who got
What? She's just throwing in random swears? Oh god. No, I can't even show that, man.
That was that old Atari 2600 game in which you could have your way with a Native American woman. Very horrible for the time.
I've never really understood the point of these games are.
Leisure Suit Larry was controversial back in the day. It was the first game with like a sexual theme because you were just like some loser from the Marina Del Rey with like a leisure suit going around trying to get hold of women in some late car. It was just like, ooh, wow, adult theme.
Final Fantasy VII. Honestly, you look at the game and it's simple RPG, but if you just look into the background story, there was so many controversial things today. Like there was cloning in the game, there was death in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of got to look into it a little bit more open-minded, but it's out there.
Okay, I mean, it's mature, I guess. Not really controversial.
Just when you thought we couldn't sink any lower, we do. Mortal Kombat introduced the Fatality, a finishing move that ranged from ripping out your opponent's spine to tearing off his head. Sounds like a good time, but that was the past. Today, the Grand Theft Auto series has managed to offend politicians, minorities, and even evil stepmoms. So who comes out on top? Is it the bloody beat-em-up action series, or are you into modern-day urban violence? It's time for me to shut the f*** up and show you this.
Oh yeah. Alright, show me. Oof. I'm gonna go GTA. Right?
The one that everyone is obsessed with is picking up a prostitute, having sex with her in your car, having her get out and then running her over and taking the money back. If you ask me, it just sounds like you're a thrifty guy in that game.
You know, Grand Theft Auto has become synonymous with controversy. I guess because of the level of violence. I guess because of the fact, you know, there are these hookers you can hire, you know, in the game and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it was a really, really great game.
GTA.
It was fun.
It just got so much attention in the press. Mortal Kombat.
You could also just ignore all of that if you wanted to.
A few years back, but GTA, you know, it's a great game.
I guess my parents had no filter when it came to giving me games. I don't know.
Mortal Kombat
Kombat was controversial because it was a game that introduced fatalities to the fighting genre. You could pull out someone's spine.
It was all done in fun, but for some people it was seen as much too violent and much too controversial. Grand Theft Auto got a lot of attention, mostly because it was such a great game and everyone was talking about it. And Mortal Kombat was a great game too, but I mean, that inspired congressional hearings. And in some ways, much more controversial than Grand Theft Auto back in the day.
I can see that. I've never really seen Mortal Kombat as that controversial,
Closed,
but
the votes are counted, and the
makes
most
sense.
controversial game of all time is
GTA?
the Grand Theft Auto series.
Yeah, it makes sense.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a reasonable pick.
Grand Theft Auto humiliates the competition and is officially the most controversial game ever made. That wraps up this episode of Filter. Remember, the opinions expressed on this show are yours, not mine. Until then, I'm Diane Mizzota, and I'll see you next time.
Jeez, you didn't have to flip me off. What did I do? Oh my god, cosplay. Okay, I couldn't find any controversial game lists, so it's controversial food. But I'll continue talking about games. What comes to mind when I think of a controversial game? It's actually not like, oh, is this game pornographic? Is it violent? Today, that has changed a lot, right? Like, now it's about, is the game woke or not? It's it's not about, is it pornographic or violent? It's about, is it avoiding being pornographic? And growing up, I never saw a controversial game as something good. I always saw it as a cheap marketing gimmick. And I think that has sort of like influenced me even today, where I'm like, I see games that are over the top with violence or being sexy, and I'm like, it's probably not a very good game. Anyway, food, right? S, good. I've always loved these. Maybe there's probably like a ton of like off-brands that are really bad, but the ones that I had growing up were awesome. I loved them. Raisins, A. I love raisins. I hated them as a kid. And then at one point I was like, I don't know, I just decided like, no, it's stupid to hate raisins. Why do I hate raisins? And I just tried to enjoy them, and then I did. I was like, this is awesome. I like them. Mustard, A. Almond Joy, I think I've only had this one time. So I don't think I can accurately judge if it's like good or bad. Ah, man. C. I mean, I remember enjoying it. I think I might have had Whoppers once. C. Never had this. I'll make a new tier list. Never had it. Never had it. Thin Mints, I mean, they're fine. Beets are fine in moderation. B. Anchovies, no. F. Well, I am very biased. I'm not actually a huge fan of seafood. I like sushi, and that's about it. F. No, it's F. Blue cheese is B. I mean, it needs the right context. People are too harsh on blue cheese. Eat it in like small doses and with meat, and it's really good. I can't remember the name of these, but I do think they're fine. I mean, when they're cooked, they're fine. Pickles? Yeah. A. Might actually move it to S? Not A. A is fine. What even is this? I don't know what this is. It's just cheese? Don't know. Coconuts, good. A. Maybe even S? Yeah. Spam, never had it. Double stuff Oreo? Is that controversial? I mean, I never had it, I guess, but I've had Oreos and I don't really like them either. Ah, man, these kinds of mushrooms, not really a big fan. D. Taco shells. I mean, it's like, why would I have this? I had these a lot as a kid, and even then I was like, why would I pick this when I could just have like a soft shell? D. I would still eat them, both of these, but who cares, right? Tomatoes, I like big tomatoes. I don't like the small cherry tomatoes, and they're fine, I guess, in moderation. Olives are good, especially on pizza, actually. I like sour cream, but I don't know what this is. Daisy sour cream. Junior mints, we're fine. C. Pineapple pizza, or is that? Yeah, it's pineapple pizza. I almost thought it was like Doritos on it, but S. We'll place it above everything else. That's my go-to pizza. Mayonnaise, I mean, it's fine. I like mayonnaise. Licorice, that's good. B. Mint ice cream, yeah, it's good. S. Oysters... Yeah, I've never properly had oysters, but I can judge it, I guess, right? What are these called in English? Artichokes, or is this artichokes? I know what it is, and based on that, I mean, they can be good. Man, people are weird about these things, huh? Weird. Goat cheese, I think? Not a fan. Not a fan. F. Tabasco, not a fan. It's E. Marmite, Vegemite, it's E. I wouldn't go out of my way to eat it, but I'll try it. Peppermint, I mean, it's fine. It's more of a Devo, I guess. Anyway, controversial gaming, am I right? I think today, controversy depends so much on just like, I don't know, angry YouTubers being like, this is the worst game ever, and here's why, and people emphasizing that over and over and repeating the same thing. So I feel like controversy has very much lost its meaning. It's more just like getting hyped up in the train of like, wow, we hate this. It's kind of boring. People try too hard to be controversial. I think that's my, I don't know, conclusion based on... Can we judge that based on games and food? People are trying way too hard to be controversial. I mean, there's nothing controversial here. Those games, I guess they were controversial, but I mean, that was their intent. I think there's a time and place for controversial games with, you know, boobage or violence. But the controversy by itself can't be the appeal. It can't be the drawing point. That's just boring, right? It has to be a real intent to the story, I feel like. Sure, you could make a game that's all about a guy going around and massacring people or driving through crowds of people or whatever. But like, does that serve a story purpose? I feel like something that truly hits hard is when there is an intent to it that goes into character-driven kind of things. And I feel like that's almost why Grand Theft Auto does a better job at being controversial, because so much of that depends on character-driven stuff. It's not just like, oh yeah, go pick up a prostitute and kill her or whatever. Like, there's so much more to the game in terms of just like driving around and doing stuff within the game in the context of who you are as a person and what you're trying to accomplish, right? And that's something that people miss out on when they point at violence and stuff. And of course, that is controversial by itself. But it's not why GTA hits hard. Do you get what I mean? Intent in story is super interesting in terms of like controversy. And I think that's what the video kind of lacked, but you know, but it knows what it was trying to do, you know? That's actually why, I guess that is actually why Final Fantasy VII stood out as a pick there. One guy looked at, you know, controversial games and he was like, Final Fantasy VII. And I was like, huh? Is that controversial? But like, if, you know, the storytelling themes to the game is actually like more controversial than Mortal Kombat in a way. There's a lot to the story of Final Fantasy VII that's just really mature and different from an RPG. So yeah, it kind of makes sense. It's actually like, I don't know if that would be my top pick for a controversial game. But maybe it should be. Maybe I overlooked that too quickly. Because you wouldn't point at it and be like, Final Fantasy VII, it's controversial. Oh, does it have nudity? Does it have violence? I mean, kinda. It's just, it's more of like deeper, hard-hitting message about environmentalism. Oh no. No, we can't do that. Bring back the boobs, bring back the guns. A good controversy is like a pineapple pizza. You like it because it's good for you, like a story. I'm trying to be deep. Hold on, give me a second. Good controversy. It's kind of like a pineapple pizza. Look, if everyone tried it, they would be like, oh, I actually enjoy this. There's more to it than what people are telling me. There's sweet and sour meeting together, combining. If you had a pizza that was all sour, you would just call that a bad pizza. And people think it's gonna be all sweet. But a good controversy has both. Yeah, it works. Yeah, I'm pretty smart. Man, I want pizza now.
There was so many controversial things today, like there was cloning in